So we know where Dalvin Cook will end up now for the remainder of the NFL season. After a couple days ago being released or mutually parting ways with the New York Jets, today he is just signed a few hours ago with the Baltimore Ravens to help with their playoff push. We kind of scroll down in this article. It says Dalvin Cook is joining the Baltimore Ravens for a playoff run after being waived by New York Jets. Move confirmed by Cook's agent with LAA Sports and Entertainment to the Associated Press on Thursday. Came after Cook cleared waivers and became a free agent. NFL Network first reported the decision by Baltimore to sign Cook, who agreed to part ways with New York on Tuesday. ESPN also reported that Cook will be first added to the Ravens practice squad. The four-time Pro Bowl running back will also be able to get familiar with the Ravens offense before the team opens up its postseason during the AFC divisional round in 2.5 weeks. It's not immediately clear whether Cook will be available for Baltimore's regular season finale at the home Saturday against Pittsburgh. So kind of get my quick thoughts on it and, what I think about the sign, if it's good or bad. We kind of have to quickly gloss over Dalvin Cook for this year. Now, it's by no one's surprise, can even debate this. The Dalvin Cook experiment with the Jets failed miserably. It didn't work out, and I think that's a good part of it is to do with the Aaron Rodgers injury. None of us foresaw that happening. The fourth snap for Rodgers tearing his Achilles in the opening week against the Buffalo Bills. I think that was a domino effect affecting not just Cook, but many other players on the team as well. Another one was Cole Hartman. I think they could have been a much bigger role for him, but unfortunately, when you had to go back to Zach Wilson and other players as well, it kind of stifles the offense a little bit. And after he got traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, his career stats with the Jets was only 1 catch for 6 yards. So it's not just Dalvin Cook. There are definitely other people that maybe hasn't lived up to the money as well. Another one being Allen Lazard. But sticking to what talking about Dalvin Cook, did not have an amazing season. No doubt, far from that. For his rushing yards this year, he had for the New York Jets in 15 games, he had 214 rushing yards for 0 touchdowns. To add insult to injury, looking at his receiving stats, not too great either. 15 receptions for 78 yards, 0 touchdowns, or a grand total of just having a little over 300 total yards, 0 touchdowns. He was little to no ineffective whatsoever. And also to a career low in yards per rush with 3.2 yards per carry. Not great. And overall, I think it just shows you the lack of carries he's gotten is really just showing you what they viewed him as. And for me, I do agree that the decision of going towards Breece Hall, and in the beginning of this, many people question whether this was a good signing or not for the Jets. In one of my videos early on when this happened, I kind of said, it's kind of paraphrasing a little bit, but just saying, it's adding another star player, just adding another name to the roster. But my concern was just looking at the depth of the receiver before they got rid of Knight and Michael Carter later on. I thought that they were good enough without Dalvin Cook, but trying to add it, we'll see what happens. And we saw throughout the whole process that it didn't work out. And early on, it looked like it was kind of hindering the running attack because they were taking carries away from Breece Hall, who was doing well and was doing far better comparing to Dalvin Cook. And I even tweeted a couple times early on the season at some points where looking at the stats, looking at the yards per game, yards per carry and stuff like that, and touchdowns and so forth, and yards he's getting overall for carries. Breece Hall was blowing him out of the water with being effective. He was much more effective, much more explosive than Dalvin Cook. Again, maybe that falls back on with Aaron Rodgers getting injured and being out for the year. Maybe that stifled him as well, and having him be able to open things up for him. But regardless, whatever you want to blame it on, maybe if I say Dalvin Cook has taken a step back, if you want to blame the offensive line, whatever it may be, we can all agree that the Dalvin Cook era in New York did not work out. So now getting to what I think about the signing for the Baltimore Ravens. Do I like the signing for this or not? I do. I think this is an amazing signing for the Ravens, a much, much better fit than the New York Jets. This is not a loaded backfield whatsoever because of the injuries that they have suffered. And it's kind of a consistent thing for the Ravens in prior years. But we used to look at early this year, week 1, they lose J.K. Dobbins with a torn ACL. And just in week 15, I think it was the same thing too, with ACL injury, but a season-ending injury for Keaton Mitchell, young explosive running back rookie that they drafted in the mid-rounds. It looked like they got their next running back, at least for this year, as a running back 1. Unfortunately, they lose him as well. So they're down their top 2 running backs. And they have Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. And now Gus Edwards has done a good job. Let's not, brush over him. He has 762 yards and 13 touchdowns this year. Kind of look at the remaining roster for their quarterbacks. Nothing too crazy outside of that. But give Justin Hill or Gus Edwards credit. He has been effective when he steps in and plays. So I don't want to say that they have absolutely nobody at the running back position, but this is definitely an upgrade, at least that help in the backfield. Outside of that too, again, J.K. Dobbins out for the year. You have Jake Funk. Again, nothing too crazy with that. Melvin Gordon, which at this moment right now I completely forgot he was on the team, but again, overall not effective too much. I don't know if he's even played. To be honest, I don't think he's even played for the Ravens this year. If he has, very little. Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell that we just talked about, and Owen Wright. Again, overall, remember, you got to take out Dobbins and Mitchell. Not impressive overall. Now, I don't think Dalvin Cook will be the number one starter. Maybe he will, but I think I definitely see this as the obvious one being a 1-2 combination with Edwards and Cook. Maybe eventually as the games go on, which is a little tough to say because by the time Dalvin Cook might actually play is when it's a playoff game. So I don't know if they'll really give him the lead back role, but I can definitely see this the overall best case scenario, and if I had to guess, being a nice 1-2 combo with Dalvin Cook being there. Even though the stats don't jump out you this season, I still think he has plenty to offer to the Ravens. Definitely, no doubt, still one of the better running backs in the NFL. Again, it's very unfortunate because I think it was a horrible sign to begin with. I know he was overall looking for money-wise, and with the Jets, he got $7 million, which is decent, but with the running back market, I guess you could say it was a good offer, seeing that when he was let go by the Jets because of cap problems. I think this is a great fit. Once again, I don't know what he's going to do. If is he the prime Dalvin Cook, as a few years ago? I don't think so. But I definitely believe he gives you another weapon, a great weapon for Lamar Jackson. I think he can rejuvenate himself here with this team. No doubt. I think it won't be hard for him to find his role, his groove with this group. We have an amazing offensive line, having Lamar Jackson on top of the running attack that he also adds to that as well. This is once again, I think it's another great weapon for Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore offense, to help take some of the pressure off of Lamar, and also to some of the pressure off of defense. Even though they have a phenomenal defense this year, amazing. Even look at the Pro Bowl. In the AFC alone, their two linebackers, Queen and Roquan Smith, both made the spots for inside linebacker for the AFC, and along with a few other players as well. That should tell you how amazing this defense is, and that's going to definitely benefit them as well too. Keep the ball on the ground, help grind that clock down a bit, and definitely make that push for the playoffs this year. It's the good news is also on top of that too, where it could also be a negative as well, is just when he's going to play. By the time it rolls around, he might have to wait until the division round when they play. I think the finale that with recording this today will be 2 days from now, or less than 2 days from now, will be their game against the Steelers. I think that's way too early, or way too soon, I should say, to see Dalvin Cook play and get action with this team. Most likely, it's going to be the divisional round, and I think that might ease him up a little bit, but at the same time too, you're not guaranteed the next game. It's it's a one loss bracket. Basically March Madness, anything, just one loss knocks you out. So it's gonna be very interesting how they manage or how they balance it out. Do they give a ton of carries to Dalvin Cook? Do they not? Do you ruin that chemistry with Gus Edwards being there? Again, having a good season as well. But overall, I mean, that part, I'm going to be very interested to see how many carries they give him. But no doubt, I guess going back to the question of will he fit in? I think he'll have no problem fitting in with this team. I think he's a great addition to this running back group that really needs it. It's definitely hindered with injuries. And for me, I can look at this as another way for the 1-2 combo is Gus Edwards being the power back or the goal line back, having 13 touchdowns, and then Dalvin Cook just being, I don't know if you want to say that, the speedy running back to help for the rest of the field. But I can see for Gus Edwards in this role, or kind of taking a step back a tad bit and just being short yardage and goal line, as opposed to for the rest of them being Dalvin Cook. Maybe he's out there in third down for passing attack, depending on how far the third down range is. But overall, once again, I do think this is a phenomenal pickup by the Baltimore Ravens. This is definitely, I don't want to say it's the piece they're missing to make it to the Super Bowl, because I think regardless, I think they definitely have a good chance with the roster they have. Once again, what I said, with the amazing defense and how Lamar Jackson is playing, along with some of the receivers. I know people aren't too crazy about Odell Beckham and Zay Flowers. Doesn't have the best receiving core out there, but it's definitely getting the job done. this, once again, no doubt adds another phenomenal piece to this one, and I won't be shocked if it doesn't take him that much time to really just get on the ground and running. I think you'll see more flashes of Vikings Dalvin Cook with this team. Again, depending on how long he's with the team, with the playoffs rolling around. Don't know how many carries he's gonna get. It might be short-lived, who knows? But just wrap it off quickly. Again, I think it's a phenomenal pick. This probably should have been a team that he may have gone early in the season, but once again, they had J.K. Dobbins and Keenan Mitchell. He could have gone somewhere else, but right now, this is a phenomenal pick. It's a great pairing, and I'm going to be very interested to see when he plays, whether it's going to be on Saturday, the season finale, or in the divisional round, how he's going to do.